Game number one, everybody. It's gonna be a good one. Washed up against Wind and Rain. And yes, we are still at the Division S playoffs here in Europe. And this is going to be pretty awesome. I honestly think this is one of the better series. Or, well, better. One of the best series here today. And I feel previously I wouldn't have said that. Before we headed into yesterday's matches, I wouldn't have said that. Because Wind and Rain, while good, in my mind, was just not on a level where they could threaten Washed Up in any way. But now we're looking at a Wind and Rain that yesterday got completely unleashed. I mean, these guys have stepped it up to an extent where I was just baffled watching the games. Now, we are obviously currently in the patch that has the 10% movement speed advantage for all the heroes across the board. So, big changes that came in on the macro level in particular. For now, we're having Tyrael and Chenband out. Yeah, the Chenband is something you really have to get used to. He is pretty powerful. And interestingly enough, also an immediate ban on the side of Sergeant Hammer. Also just realized that the teams actually screwed up the lobby a little bit. So the team names are obviously currently reversed. So we're going to change that in just a moment. But yeah, the teams kind of screwed that up. That was not supposed to be that way. But I guess you already figured that out yourselves. I'm going to adjust that in a moment. But for now, we have Malfurion picked. Urel has also been taken apart. And one of the reasons why we actually, or why that was actually something that we realized kind of quickly, is simply because I saw that ban against Sergeant Hammer, and I was like thinking to myself, why exactly would Washed Up ban Sergeant Hammer? And then that was kind of the moment, because obviously if you are playing on Wind and Rain, you want to ban Hazop's Hammer since they played that a lot, and on Battlefield of Eternity is a good example where they did that in the past. So for now we have Malfurion and Liming taken early on for Washed Up, Muradin coming in for Nic, and as you can tell, Nurok... Oh, actually... No, Nurok is subbing in. For a second I was just like, wait a moment. Is he actually missing today? So yeah. Nurok has, as I said before, switched pretty much over to League of Legends after HGC was killed by Blizzard. And is now subbing in to play a little bit more heroes with his boys. And hasn't really had any problems yesterday keeping his teammates alive. So it was pretty cool to see him back in action. Backhold on ETC this time, which is pretty traditionally one of the heroes that he doesn't really home in that heavily, but on Battlefield of Eternity, ETC is pretty awesome. So they go into ETC early on. Traditionally for backhold you would see a Tyrael, which was banned, or a Johanna for example. So that is a thing. Skog is now playing on Hanzo, and yeah, there's the Malthael ban. I'm actually wondering if they're putting ETC on the side lane and just pick him early to have the flexibility in picks, similar to what Granite Gaming is doing oftentimes. Tyrande gets banned on the other hand though too, because if you have ETC and Tyrande, you obviously have the added stun there, and the stun combo is super difficult to handle if executed properly. In addition to that, the Hunter's Mark works on the Immortal too, so you can burn that down easily. If you already have Hanzo on the other side, that means there's a lot of Immortal damage. Anduin gets played again. Gulnar really liking the heroes and having some sick moves on this one too. But at this point, Make on Genji, so looking for some resets here, similar to what we have for Mena. But Gulnar has definitely played a ton of Anduin now in Division S. He played the hero yesterday. He was the first one to actually play Anduin also when the hero was released on the higher level. And especially the trade saves are pretty sick. There comes Reyna again. This is something that Washed Up already played yesterday with Exterminator, and I have absolutely no reason to believe that they don't go into that this time again. Last time they played Exterminator even with Jaina on their team, which would have procced the ace in the hole very reliably. Now you have Blaze obviously for an additional slow as well if you wanted to go into ace in the hole, but I really think that right now it's kind of a given that Hazo is going for Exterminator here again, with Infernal taking Blaze on the offlane. And there's Johanna, so we're going to have that switch around. As I said before, ETC is not usually a backhold hero, so we're going to have ETC on the offlane for Max Passion and backhold playing Johanna instead. Ladies and gentlemen, game number one, Battlefield of Eternity in our best of 5 series. Let's jump in right away. Game number one with Gulnar on Anduin. The Crybaby gets picked once again. Max Passion on ETC. We have Skog on Hanzo. Backhold on Johanna. And we're seeing Make on Genji on the left side of the map. Towards the right side, we have Nic on Muradin. We're seeing Mena on Liming, so he's back to one of his standard heroes here. Nurok, subbing in for the team today, is playing on Malfurion. Blaze on Infernal and Hazo Ops on Reyna. straight on Jimmy. Alright, this is gonna be pretty awesome. And for everybody that's currently asking, hey, why exactly is Nurok here? Where's JPL? What's happening with Smexy? So Smexy and JPL are not playing at the playoffs here, and therefore Nic and Nurok are subbing in for the team. And yeah, so far it's been going really well. I mean, they played already with a couple of the guys in the Heroes Hype tournament that took place recently, so that was quite successful for them as well. And for now, we have actually the Stormbolt quest on level 1 with the perfect storm for Murden. And let's see how exactly this is going to pan out. But we have the ace in the hole. Alright, Hazu goes for the ace in the hole. As I said during the draft, you have at least Blaze for the slows. I mean, there's a bit more, obviously. You are looking at Malfurion, for example, and you have also Muradin that can help out with that. But it's really interesting because yesterday they didn't pick ace in the hole with a Jaina. Now they're picking ace in the hole. Obviously, it allows you for more power on in the team fights. But yeah, Hazu going away from that. I think at some point after the Chinese started to pick Exterminator a lot, he was talking in one of his personal streams also about how Exterminator is a pretty solid talent on this map, which I definitely can agree with. It depends a little bit on what kind of focus you have. If you feel you need more of an Immortal race, then it's obviously a great talent. The problem is if you can't win the team fights, then that doesn't help you either. So at the end of the day, you still need to be at least competitive in the team battles themselves in order to make it happen. The weird thing about the Chinese was that they just pick Exterminator on every map and they don't really care about it, and that usually is something that you would never see in Europe. Backhold goes down, big rotation that came in there with Infernal, and they just capitalized on that 5 versus 4 beautifully. And it was a fantastic setup. Blaze rotated down to the bottom of the map after pushing out the top lane. Oh my god. Another big save from Khaldor already. And yeah, well done with that. But yeah, there was always a little bit of a discussion about Exterminator and Ace in the Hole, especially players on the pleb level. So when we're talking Wood League and Plastic League, always think that with a quick pick into Exterminator, they can take that Immortal down and win the game. But there's a little bit more to it than that. It's honestly a weird scenario when you talk about competitive Heroes of the Storm, because there's pretty much two philosophies about it. There's like players that believe that talents and also heroes and draft don't matter at all, and of course they do. Like, talents are important, but at the same time, as important as they are, the thought that some people have that going into a specific pick at the end of the draft or even early on, that will auto-win you the game, and the same is true for talents, is also far from the truth. Especially when we're talking about the amateur scene, one of the biggest advice that I always give newer players or newer amateur teams is to stop trying to play too many heroes and trying to outsmart your opponent in draft, because that's just not how it works. And instead just focus on one role and play only 2 or 3 heroes in that role. And once that you really master those heroes, try and branch out a little bit. But just getting the practice in on a couple of heroes and making sure that you're solid with them gives you so much more strength. It's very similar when you think about sports training. It's honestly just about repeating training and just getting better in a few aspects and then branching out once that you feel comfortable enough with exactly those. And it's similar also with builds. You should focus on a couple of core builds and then later on you can branch out slightly. And Exterminator is a good example for this. It's definitely a bit of a niche talent that can be picked, but in 80 to 90% of the cases you will still see Ace in the Hole, especially if your team has enough slows to more or less constantly proc that talent. And it was always weird to see how the Chinese got very they really started to love that talent. So it was a little bit weird. And in Europe, on the higher level, it's a very rare pick. But as I said, we see it occasionally, and it can be good, but it's still a bit of an outlier talent, even on the best map, which is Battlefield of Eternity, as we can see here right now. But enough diving away from the action here. We have our first Immortal in, and so far Washed Up got 2 kills. So they are looking quite good in the early game, with 10 stacks already on the baseline for Muradin. So Nic is doing fairly well on the tanks. And it's jumping in on Max Payne, but misses the Stormbolt here. It's still a kill. Mene gets the kill, and they are able to get kill number 3. Here's the important part. They got absolutely murdered on the Immortal. They got absolutely killed on the Immortal. So yes, they win the fights. They take the They take the object, they take the kills, but they were not able to take the Immortal. So that was very annoying, and it's also one of the reasons why they get the kills in the first place, since Wind and Rain has obviously focused very hard on the Immortal with those fights. Hanzo is also a hero that really helps you with that. Muradin in this case for the give him the axe here on level 7. We have Calamity after Dominance for Liming now as well. And at the same time, seeing the immediate aggression at the top lane, trying to home in on the fort itself, and they might even get that. Nic was trying to go for Genji with the Storm Ball, but misses him since one of the minions was still in the way, and obviously he doesn't have Pierce yet. But they're trying to get the kill against Anduin, and the Crybaby is locked into a corner, and since he doesn't know what to do with the sword of his, he dies screaming. So Johanna falls shortly after as well. And that brings us to 5 kills against 0. Washed Up defends the top fort, takes a few more kills, and is now in a spot where they can take an easy camp and maybe push the top fort themselves. The level 7 abilities have also given us the full build with the scatter arrows here for Hanzo, but they're never outmatched on level 7. And yeah, a solid leading experience now too. 15 stacks for Muradin. Obviously with Sledgehammer as his level 4 talent, he benefits even more from every Storm Ball that he connects. But thanks to the kills that came from a lot of the Storm Balls, he has a huge discrepancy between the perfect Storm on level 1 and his baseline. Market just zipping around here. Khaldor helping him with the trade, and Genji honestly just dancing across the entire map, or at least the entire screen. So that was fun. But with 19 stacks on the baseline for Nic, it also means, there's another one, 21 at that point. It means that we are actually going to see a super early quest completed for Muradin, and that gives us the cooldown reduction on the Storm Ball, plus in addition to that, also the Pierce. So yeah, looking good for him. And again, if you missed it, Sledgehammer was a little bit changed. So Sledgehammer, once you take it, gives you also now an additional stack of the baseline quest. Important to note, not the perfect storm, only the baseline quest. So you're guaranteed to complete this a little bit quicker, and that helps obviously a lot to get that Pierce, get the cooldown reduction, and those are really good tools to have. Top lane got pressured again. 10 versus 9 now, so this means that we're having a free shot for Washed Up on the Immortal to win the halftime show. We should see Wind and Rain catching up in experience quickly, especially if they soak the top lane now, which is pushing out with the camp plus an additional wave. But Washed Up has the halftime show, and as it seems, we might even see them getting an additional lead on the second half of the Immortal, because that level 10 is still a bit away, and that is a bit of a disaster for Wind and Rain, honestly. They stepped it up massively yesterday. They did so fantastic, but here's the level 10 abilities now, and the Immortal is nearly done. Still, they have a chance. Here comes the light bomb play into the backline. ETC with a stage dive, and Malfurion gets turned into a pancake quickly. Damn, son, what a setup. Yep, there was a bunker on the ground, but Malfurion wasn't quick enough to jump into that. And that light bomb setup with Genji jumping into the backline, plus ETC on the stage dive and the Hanzo arrow, like, holy shit. You find yourself in a choke point when that shit hits, you are dead within a second. Malfurion can tell a tale of that. But if they had more heroes there, that would have happened even more. 4 versus 5, and Bakul nearly dying, but Anduin is at this point putting himself into the play and is doing well with it. Immortal gets won again. Guess by whom? By the blue team. Still, Genji dies, but it's just unbelievable to see how this is planning out. Washed Up pretty much had that Immortal won already, and then that kill happened, and Wind and Rain turns it around. Now, they lose a couple of heroes in the process, and it's now 7 kills against 1, but you have to give them a bit of respect because they are just winning their objectives thanks to Hanzo and thanks to these quick and snappy kills that we are having there. So, pretty cool setup by them, but in the long run, not getting kills is going to be a problem for them. Now, as we obviously saw, that level 10 combo is going to change things slightly, but they need a bit more than only one isolated kill against Nurok, so let's see if that works out again. There's the light bomb, there's the attack, arrow misses, ETC stage dive doesn't do a whole lot, but they kill Li Ming regardless, and that's all that they need to do. These kills are great for them. 5 versus 4, but the turnaround attempt from Washed Up is there looking for the counter kill, and they get it as well. There's the kill against Johanna, and they're looking for more. Nic is trying to get another Stormbolt in and does exactly that. The root follows, Nurok following up on every single approach and initiation that we're seeing from the Dwarf at the front line. 8 kills against 2. And as the death timers increase, those become more important. If you are able to get kills in the late game, you are having a big macro advantage, of course, as well, just simply because you have a numeric advantage on the map itself. So these kills, these attacks that we're seeing from Wind and Rain need to net them a little bit more in the long run. Getting a kill is great. If you have one hero dying, though, at the same time, it doesn't really help you all that much. But the combo is dangerous. The combo is really dangerous, as we just saw. So this is one of the things that we're going to see right there. I mean, at this point, we have to also note that Stage Dive and Arrow didn't really connect the way that they wanted. So if that would have happened, that would have been really different. 13 is already in their hands, and yep, with that, we're having Fuel Leak, and we have Illusionist. By the way, I feel it's absolutely... oh, there's the setup again, into the backline, and down goes Malf. Honestly, this is a pretty nasty setup. I mean, it feels a little bit like cheating. It's, by the way, typical that Anduin has a talent like Light Bomb. It's honestly, it's a coward's talent. That's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much you sitting there and saying like, oh, I don't want to fight them. Here, you do it. That's pretty much what he does. He just tries to abandon the battlefield, doesn't want to really fight, and instead tries to empower someone else to do it for him, to face danger head on, to go into the heart of the battle, and potentially die while he sits in the backline and just watches everything. It's a despicable character. It's an absolutely horrifying character. Blaze goes down, and as much as we're shitting on Anduin, I gotta say that at least in terms of value, especially through his saves that he can employ, he is pretty fun, but let's face it, I gotta rip the kid every now and then. After that whiny World of Warcraft trailer that I had to watch about 1,000 times during the China stay for Heroes of the Storm, I have zero respect anymore for this thing. So, yeah, there's obviously always the argument to be made that you can also cast a Light Bomb on himself, but let's be honest here for just a moment. Have you ever seen Anduin cast it on himself? Ever? Outside of Quick Match and Brawls. In any kind of game that matters, in any way? No? Exactly. Think about why. Think about why. If you carry around a sword and you don't know how to stick them with a pointy end, not only should you take a couple of lessons from Arya Stark and Jon Snow, but at the same time, you should really rethink what you're trying to do with that sword there the entire time. He could sell it and maybe buy himself a new dress or something. Either way, enough of Anduin. 9 kills against 4 gave us finally the Immortal for the opponent's team, but Nurok is just getting annihilated every time. This combo is just destroying him so hard. The Light Bomb coming in, ETC with a quick jump. It's pancake time every time, and oh my god. Now they're trying to look for more kills, but again the counter kill. ETC this time has fallen. Nic is still on the run. We're currently having him with a Bronze Beard Rage on level 13. The Stormbolt and the kill against Hanzo. Mene with a reset, and Mene trying to play Heroes Whack-A-Mole. Looking for the kills as well. But at this point, Marke also on the run, waiting for the cooldown again. Back ult, and they make the plays. Top lane though, that's where the value really happens. The Immortal at the bottom of the map was taken down before the fort got destroyed. But at the top lane, the camp did the job quite nicely. 11 kills against 6. And we now have also nearly level 16 for them. So it's a pretty cool setup from Washed Up in regards to how they're surviving through all of this. But again, this lineup that we're seeing from Wind and Rain, I mean, holy shit! Imagine that against a bit of a lesser team that doesn't get these counter kills. Every single time that Nurok steps forward, he's getting wrecked and he can't do anything about it. How many times did Nurok die? Nurok died 3 times. Doesn't sound like much, but every single time we have a team fight, they just pick one hero out, jump on him, take him apart, and that's the end of that. The combo every time it hits, when the Blessed Shield connects, when an arrow connects, and then Light Bomb and also the Stage Dive come in, is just insane. It's honestly insane. But they have to get these kills. It's really just their play. And they're trying to get it on Reyna, but Jimmy survives. Backhood comes in. They're trying to make the play. The Hanzo arrow hasn't even been used yet. Hanzo comes out of the bunker as he's trying to home in on Max Payne. And Max Passion is in trouble. ETC trying to survive here. The rest of the team is also on the run, but ETC is already down. And Mane is trying to get the resets. Jumping in again. Using the ult, going for Backhood. Everybody's just jumping into that choke point. The problem is that Muradin is already cutting the path of retreat off. They're going for Hanzo. The Stormbolt hits Anduin. And this is going to be another kill. Johanna's already down and they're trying to get another double, and that is Hanzo and Anduin eliminated. 4 kills for them. 51,000 damage for Hanzo, 51,000 damage for Jimmy, 15 kills against 6. And now we have the big lead for Washed Up as they go for another Immortal. Absolutely phenomenal. Great fight by them, an attempted retreat by Wind and Rain, and it did not work out whatsoever. Huge problem. I mean, that little corridor down there, that little choke point was a massive issue. There was just no getting away from that spot. And they were trying to escape, but they were shut down from the start. Fantastic setup from Washed Up. And 15 kills to 6 is just now yielding a massive Immortal for them. And since both of the forts have already been eliminated, they have now a chance to go straight in for the first keep of the game. There's already a massive wave up at the top, and they're going to try and push that in together with the Immortal. And this is going to be nasty to deal with, to say the least. The light well at this point, so going to try and get a little bit more heal power out. We have 30 stacks, by the way, for Muradin on his level 1, so that's 150 damage with every single Stormbolt that he throws out. Thanks to that. Also Stoneform on level 16 is going to help him with the survivability even more than before. Pained him rat. Same true for Reina. Let's see if that shield is enough to break through the wall and go straight in for the keep itself, or if they have to abandon the top lane push before the keep is destroyed. As the defense already set up at the front with Backhold trying to set it up. Stormbolt misses. Condemn was sucking them in a little bit harder, but the damage still needs to come out in order to make it happen. And that keep is not looking good. Not good at all, especially since that Immortal is still at 50% HP, and there's nearly a kill against Genji, but once more Anduin making the play here. Galnagul now with good action, but the keep is down and the core is wide open. Light bomb set up, they go for Nurok, and this time he doesn't die. They are missing the combo, and now they just use nearly everything, and they have nothing left. In comes the kill against Johanna. The arrow comes out, connects with one. Is that going to be enough? I doubt it. They go for the core. The shields have fallen. The core is down to 50%. And this is bad news for Wind and Rain as they look like they lose. Game number 1 against Washed Up. With Blaze down, there's a bit of a hope shimmer there. But nope, it's the first victory for Washed Up in this best of 5 series against Wind and Rain. Game number 2, everybody. Washed Up with the lead. Pretty cool game from them there. I gotta admit that I absolutely love the aggression that we've seen from Wind and Rain with that combo. Nurok probably cannot confirm. I guess he was pretty salty about that the first 3 times that he died, because that was just beautiful. It didn't really work out that way in the end, since Wind and Rain missed a couple of the elements occasionally, and then if the target survives, you obviously down your heroic abilities. And you have a big problem there. But I like the idea behind it. It was pretty cool. And as much as I rip Anduin, I mean, I have to shit on the hero every now and then. But I gotta say that the saves that Galnagul now performed there multiple times, just, boy, there's so many heroes that should have died, and then Anduin or Galnagul now they came in and yeah, made sure that that doesn't happen. Again, the ban against Sergeant Hammer, it just feels like one of those better safe than sorry bans where they're saying, let's just get Hammer out there, at least on those maps. Battlefield and Infernal Shrines, I think maybe on Volskaya we see a Hammer ban again, but probably outside of that they will go into different bans. For now, Tyrael is also banned out. Again, Backhold is mainly playing Tyrael when he gets the chance, and this is a fantastic map for Tyrael because you're fighting on that one single point where Sanctification therefore gets additional value too. So, can totally understand that. Yrel gets banned again. Now, she got buffed a little bit on the Hand of Freedom, for example, and in the past, Infernal in particular has played a huge amount of Yrel. So I think it's really a target pick against him and against some of the plays that they made with those heroes. But what are we going to see banned out from Washed Up? Mephisto traditionally against Marker is banned out on Infernal Shrines, and they do that again. Okay, so no surprise here. When it comes to the first pick, then again, that's a different story. I mean, there's a couple of approaches that you could go for. Hanzo first would be one of them that can definitely be played here. We have seen a huge focus also on Chen. And we get the Panda again, which leaves Hanzo, by the way, open. So Hanzo can now be taken by Washed Up if they want to risk that against the Panda. And yeah, it's Chen time again. We've seen a lot of that bad boy after the recent 2 patches. It wasn't only the rework, but it was the patch afterwards also that put him into the limelight. And yeah, first double pick here for Washed Up. Captain Mane, what are we gonna get? Diablo and Hanzo. Could be Arrow into Apocalypse, but even outside of that, Diablo just solo already is fantastic on the map, since he's more or less guaranteed to get those wall stuns in. Back Khaldor and Garrosh, and Malfurion gets played in this game now as well. Alright, so already a pretty sweet setup for both of the teams here. And Mene doesn't have a hero yet. Now keep in mind, this is one of the maps where Mene played a lot of Kelthas. This is a good map for Jaina. You can also still play around Gul'dan here. And that Horrify, for example, could really wreck a couple of those plays later on that Wind of Rain might try and execute here. So all three are good options depending on what's coming through for the team in blue. The ban against Jimmy for now. They don't want to deal with Jimmy in this case. It can of course also stop Diablo depending on what's going on there, and just like stop him in his tracks when he starts to move in. Then again, if you're Wind and Rain, what are you going to get rid of? Maybe one of Mene's heroes that he could eliminate? Anubarak has actually not really been played a lot today, so he got slightly nerfed on 2 talents, Epicenter and, well, his Carapace ability. There's the Medivh ban. That's actually pretty smart, honestly. Medivh slipped my mind here, but especially with Hazops, that's a hero that you might not want to go up against. To be fair, Wind and Rain has also played Medivh, but he's always one of these wildcard picks that can absolutely destroy a team, or it just doesn't work out at all. But that's a good ban here from Wind and Rain. Definitely well thought out. So, washed up, they have the next double pick, and they go for Leo on the side lane, and we have Nurok again on Deckard Cain. He already played him yesterday. It's definitely one of Nurok's favorites, and Deckard Cain has been buffed after we pretty much haven't seen him for ages. Not in the patch that just dropped, but like 2 patches ago, I think, and is a little bit more powerful now. And Infernal Shrines was always one of his best maps because he has a really good choke point control, and also can control the shrine itself quite nicely there. So, cool pick for them. Nice to see the old man back in action. And the final 2, there's Jaina and there is Greymane. Greymane is making a huge splash right now. And there's Kelthas, as we already said before. Alright, Kelthas in action. Wind and Rain against Washed Up, ladies and gentlemen. This is map number 2. Washed Up is in the lead right now, and we're heading straight into Infernal Shrines. Game number 2. Malfurion played by Galnigulnar, Backhold on Garrosh, Muck on Jaina, Max Passion on Jen, and Skog on Greymane. The setup for Wind and Rain on our second map. We have Washed Up to the right side with Infernal on Leoric, Hazops on Hanzo, and Nic on Diablo, Nurok on Deckard Cain, and Mene on Kelthas. Alright, Eye of the Tiger again on level 1. We've seen a couple of games with the freshest ingredients. But yeah, let's get this party on the road. Field Study has now been taken. Alright, the additional spell power for 16 seconds. Let's see what Nurok can pull off with that. Honestly, I'm pretty hyped. Like, I honestly like seeing Deckard Cain. Just generally speaking, he can be a very, very fun hero from a caster's perspective. And we had a very narrow focus on roughly 4 supports for a long time. So seeing Washed Up branch out a little bit and going into one of Nurok's preferences is pretty awesome. And he was quite impactful the last time that he played the hero. So I can definitely appreciate this. We have Chen again in play, and I honestly don't know exactly where he currently sits in his win rate after the recent patch that also introduced the 10% movement speed across the board to all heroes, but I believe it's roughly on the level of 6 wins and 2 deaths, as 2 losses. Since we're talking about losses and deaths, this is one of them, so Chen already eliminated. Panda Abuse here in Heroes of the Storm. Someone should call the Care Police or Peter, one of the two. And yeah, Backhold moves over on the money pick, riding in style here to make sure that they're not losing out on lane experience. That's a good rotation. It's definitely a nice one that they just got there. In the meantime, we have down at the bottom of the map, Hazops soaking the rest of the XP. The early game on Infernal Shrines is usually dominated by those rotations, just trying to get the experience, see if you can get a kill with a gank somewhere, and aim for those mercenary camps. And this is what both of the teams have been doing now. So we have already one marching in from the blue team, one from the red team, and then it's always a question, who gets the one at the bottom? The center camp right here. And Hazo's already poking around, but we're having 2 heroes in the middle, so they will have to let this one go. Hazo's still trying to get some damage in against Maka, pokes him from afar. Mene obviously working on the Globe quest as quickly as he can. It's all about the survivability here for Kelthas. Mana and, yeah, survivability, both of them. So it's highly important here. And in this case, again, standard build with the Netherwind. Also, the potion of shielding at this point. And, well, we're having, as so often, the accumulating flame on the Panda. It's a pretty nice setup for the team fights. Honestly, level 10 is going to change a lot here. Again, when the triple Panda comes in, Kel'Thas, Hanzo are going to be in trouble. I guess the same is true also for Deckard Cain. But I would assume that Deckard with his zone control could actually heavily contribute to make sure that the Panda can't quite unleash the deadly power and backline pressure that we've seen from him in so many other games. So Deckard Cain might be a pretty solid hero against this particular setup. So I want to see how that's going to work out in the later stages of the game. It would be pretty awesome if Deckard would be one of those priority picks against the Panda. We have seen a few of those in the recent games. I mean, one of the picks, for example, that we've seen on Battlefield was an Arthur's pick against Greymane. Greymane got buffed and now is being played a lot more. And that brings us also Arthur's back into the meta, at least to a small extent. He can now be a pick to try and control the auto attacks coming from Greymane. It's always a question of how much you fear and respect Greymane as an individual hero there. So with this, we're having a 5 versus 5 now over the first shrine. And, well, top lane, that's where the two camps are already battling each other. But this is where the real action happens, right in front of us. One kill so far in this game was against the Panda. And Hazorps, wow, jumps straight into the range of the little drunken brawler there. And gets, of course, a staff to the face or a keg, depending on which hand was used here. And that's the end of Hanzo. It's a little bit unlucky with the jump. We're also seeing the wall stun against Backhold. The problem for Nic is that this is not going to threaten him in the slightest. Instead, Nic is now finding himself in trouble. Gets attacked there too. Main trying to bring the AoE pain, but Dibbles has fallen. And that's the third kill against Leo. Wind and Rain coming out swinging in game number 2. Also claiming the Punisher. And that is a bit dangerous. Look at that gap in experience that all of a sudden has emerged here, thanks to those 3 kills. Since the wall is already opened up, they honestly might be able to get the fort. That was a pretty impressive start from them. The Panda has already started to rotate in the middle and will also head towards the top of the map. But yeah, this is an easy fort for them. Easy peasy. Fury of the Sunwell will come into play later on, since he focuses on Burn Flesh already on level 7. So we're going to see a full focus, very likely, into the Flame Strike build from Meno and Kalthas. But the early game definitely goes to Wind and Rain. That is a really solid one that they have there. Good kills, easy objective, fort at the bot lane, even knocking the wall a little bit at the keep. This time Backhold finds himself very much so alone, but the rotation is already coming. And they're trying to get a kill here. They're trying to make the play for Infernal, and there should be a flip. And Infernal goes down. That's a kill right there, and we're talking 4 kills against 1 and an entire level lead. And honestly, 1 level lead on this map heading into level 10 can backfire very quickly thanks to a snowball around heroic abilities. And with Greymane in particular, if you get him on structures, I mean, again, I sound a bit like a broken record here, but time and time again, we're seeing it proven correctly. If you have Greymane in any position where he can go down on a few structures, he will just destroy them within seconds. And they already break through the wall in the middle. We have Jaina at the bot lane going for another camp. Mark is just sitting there now doing his own thing. Greymane has, of course, a lot of mercenary power too, which he uses together with Malfurion to get another Khazra camp. And this is pretty amazing for them. The start is, I mean, you couldn't write a better script pretty much. So there's the Cursed Bullet now, the changed talent with the increased damage now. In addition to that, we're seeing the Taunt, the Warlord's Challenge for Garrosh, and the Water Elemental. Shen is trying to tease us a little bit, but honestly, I really believe that at this point, Wandering Keg is just not the talent to go for. And if you can go into the Triple Panda, you have so much pressure against the backline heroes and the squishies. Why wouldn't you go for this? I love what they're doing at the bottom of the map, by the way. With level 10 abilities and that big of a lead, not only do they get the kill against Mena, that was awesome and a bit of a bonus, but the push against the keep itself is really what takes the cake here. 6.5 minutes in, with that big of a lead, they go keg! They're actually kegging it! Alright, keg is in instead of the Triple Panda. Not quite sure if I'm a fan there, but let's see if it works out. The talent got buffed after all. I still don't think that it's better than the Pandas, but we'll see. And they should still try and get that keep. And that's 7 minutes into the game, and they are going to get it. They dropped the rest of their heroics, but it's going to fall 100%, and there it is. And that's all because they got such a massive lead in experience and could fight with heroic abilities while their opponent didn't have it. Panda sacrificing himself. Is just saying, you know what, guys? I'm gonna die. It's fine. And they're now getting the kill against Leo too. The arrow was pretty solid, and there's the Tornado. They might get more kills, and Gulnar gets dropped. But no matter how many they lose here, I honestly don't care. That was still worth it. Getting the keep this early in the game, yep. Another hero falls, so in total they've lost 3. But they also killed Leo, so in experience they still hold the lead. And the more important part is that this lane is now going to be continuously pushed by catapults. That's a huge macro advantage that you have at this point. And as I said, if they would have gone into the triple panda, for example, or if Max Passion wouldn't have tried to go for a kill with the barrel, but just would have helped with the keep, they could have gotten the keep and moved out without losing a single hero there. So that could have been played even a little bit better. So what are the changes onto the Wandering Keg? The last patch that we've just seen drop this week has now decreased the cooldown. So at this point, we're having a 60-second cooldown for it. And on top of that, you now also have some extra armor, 25%, 25 to be exact, which really helps you with survivability while you have it active. The fight at the top is, on the other hand, pretty much on even level, because we're now having, well, a level advantage granted, but it's on even talents. So with that, the strength level, the power level is roughly the same here, and Washed Up is obviously going to try and turn the game around here. The bot lane is still pushing, and to be fair, 8.5 minutes in, even if a few catapults make it to the core, they're not going to really do a whole lot here. They have to scale into the late game, but just having that constant pressure on the bottom of the map is already helpful. If they can delay this entire setup, that would be great as well. So they're trying to go for Diablo here. This point's also a bit of Max Payne saving himself. Move, there's the taunt and the kill. Hanzo is down, but Jaina is dead as well. Got burned to a crisp there by Diablo, who also falls, but had the souls and is going to come back soonish. 25 against 20 stacks now on the objective, and with Diablo having to travel all the way to the top again, Wind and Rain is going to take the lead and probably also the objective once more. They also have level 13. Wind and Rain is bringing the pain. Washed Up is suffering here in this particular series now. Or well, in the game at least, that is. In the series itself, they've obviously already taken the lead. Triple catapult, so you have to deal with that. They might not be on Winion value or Winion level just yet, but it's definitely a problem if 3 catapults home in on your core, or a 4th one's coming in too. So the top lane gets attacked now. If they get another 4 tier, and that's what it looks like, it would be great for them as well, because it just basically means that they have even more catapult pressure and macro advantages on the map. Level 13 gives us the Ancient Blessings, which was always a fucking fantastic talent for Deck Arcane. Besides that, Pyromaniac for the cooldown reduction, and on top of it also the Ominous Wrath. Fort is down, and they're looking for more. With the 65% of HP remaining on the Punisher, he can definitely do that. Big stun against them, and they're gonna open up the wall. I don't really think they can look for a kill here, but as long as you can take those towers down, or at least open the wall up, you're gonna be absolutely Gucci. Entomb didn't hit anything either. Wall is open up, 1 tower down, and it's a great spot for Wind and Rain to be in this second game. They stepped it up heavily in Division S here in those playoffs. It's honestly like the entire season they were just like making sure that they were part of the playoffs and having a bit of fun there, and then they started to practice heavily for the playoffs themselves, and now all of a sudden teams have to respect them. Yesterday we've already seen players from Granite Gaming talking a little bit about how they are playing out of their mind right now, despite the fact that Granite was able to take the series against them. But we're seeing a similar setup now in the second game of the best of 5 series. Once again, the barrel trying to zone everyone away from Dibbles, and that's a kill. So instead of trying to keg a hero into the fight, they just isolate Diablo, and then Max Passion makes sure that nobody is able to help him out. Kegs the support away, kicks everybody else away, and yeah, that was a top keg play for sure. Backhold a bit low. Oh, taunts, but dies. And we see more aggression down here. Main is of course now attempting to bring the pain thanks to the flame strikes and helping with the cooldown reduction to get a little bit more out of it. The kill against Leo. Trade value activated right there. Nicely done. The pressure at the top, the pressure at the bottom, everywhere the entire time. But what else do we have? 16! Incredibly close, and there it is. 1.5 level lead for them now. And that gives us the Northern Exposure. Okay. Plus in addition to that, the Executioner. Executioner, generally speaking, is just amazing. Especially if you're playing with a Jaina. Honestly, it's an absolute dream. That's pretty much a guaranteed extra 30% damage for Greymane at this point. If you're playing with Jaina, Make only has to try and throw as many slows out as he can and then leave the rest up to Greymane. Like, boy, you got that. You go. You go, it's fine. Timing the camp here around the objective as well is apparently what the play is right now. They have vision on a couple of the heroes at the bot lane, so that's good for them. They also know where Leo is. Infernal is in vision. Is he in vision range? Should be close. And the rest of the team is also just waiting over here. The goal for Washed Up is obvious. Get level 16. Get level 16, fight for the next objective. And at the same time, when we're looking towards Wind and Rain, they want to time all the camps that they have controlled on the map now with the next objective. Because since it spawns in the middle of the map, it also means it's far away from the bot lane. And now that we're 13 minutes in, if you have catapults starting to hit the core, yes, it's not going to burn it down right away, but it's definitely going to start nibbling at those shields and potentially take a few of the hit points down. And that would allow later on in the game immediate backdoor strategy. Especially since with Keck you can also keep everyone away from the core when they're trying to defend it. So that's something that you have to keep in mind here. But yeah, the bot lane is now getting pressured. Top lane is where we're having the two camps collide. But at the bottom of the map, we are definitely going to see Catapult make it towards the core sooner rather than later. Just simply because we're already having one Catapult together with the Khazras here. So time's ticking. Time's ticking for Washed Up. 5 kills against 10. It's level 16 versus level 16, which gives us for Mena the Fury of the Sunwell, as already predicted earlier. There's the Entomb, there's an arrow, and they're starting to go straight for it. Leo nearly falling, and Skok wants to get the damage in. The Lightning Breath comes in, and Greymane gets pretty much toasted, but Gulnar keeps him in play. Mena is down, though. He gets wrecked, and with Kel'Thas all of a sudden gone, and Leo also falling, this is bad news for Washed Up. They're looking pretty shaken in this one. Nic also gets his souls, and that's unfortunate, because he's going to die right now. Yep, he's going to lose all of his souls, and this is a typical case of where you would have loved to be at 99 souls and die. Because there's nothing he can do now that he's back. They had to wait for Kel'Thas and for Leo anyways, so Nic being dead another 10 seconds or so wouldn't have mattered in the slightest. Him losing 100 souls on the other hand, that matters a lot. Because that means that right now he's going to be weak as a kitten. And he will have to regain all those souls while the opponent is pushing. So a typical case of where you would have loved to just stop the soul progress for a second, just let yourself die, accept the long death timer, and then still have the hit point pool very high up and complete the souls shortly after. So well, now we're having the aggression right where, starting to move into the middle, and this should be another keep. At least to be honest. Top lane, yes, that is going to do a bit of damage too, but the big fight is happening straight here in the middle. 19 against 17, arrow connects with one. Can they get the kill? And they cannot. Berkult survives the Keck play again. There's a bit more damage thanks to the Fury of the Sun. Well, Berkult might finally fall, but the problem is that Diablo has also died. The mace to the face from Infernal as he seals the deal on Garrosh. And that keep is actually still there, but for how much longer? That's the question. Well, Greymane is about to fall. Moonfire into the ground. Keep! Someone hit that thing! Finally it falls. Greymane has also been eliminated. Max Payne is jumping out, and it seems like those three are going to survive. Then again, Mena connects the gravity lapse. Max Payne is, on the other hand, pretty much on full HP again. Do we have an Entomb? It's 4 seconds until Entomb. Marka's gonna fall. There's an Entomb right now. They can Entomb that shit, and they are entombing that shit. Jaina goes down. Jaina gets completely gangbanged by 4 heroes here. Has 0 chance of escape. The shields, on the other hand, are falling. And even with the camp pushing through the wave, that should lose a couple of hit points. Yep, 97. 97, 94. And level 20 is nearly there for Wind and Rain. 2 keeps down. Already a few hit points scratched off the core. And now an entire level behind with Storm Talons in the hands of their opponent. Woo. It's tough. It's tough. At this point, Wind and Rain is still in absolutely fantastic shape. Serenity at this point taken. Bam, there's the Ice Blink. Energizing Brew. That sounds to me like a runtime berry drink. It has the right color as well. So yeah, that's definitely that 20% bonus health, bonus damage, 25 seconds. Yeah, that's definitely a runtime berry drink that we're talking about here. I can confirm. And Chen, he knows what tastes good. I mean, that guy is drinking all day long, so that's an endorsement that you just can't beat. Top lane, that's where they are trying to get their experience for level 20, and they're nearly getting it. Mid lane is where they are pushing with Max Payne now, so obviously they just want to take down the camps here. The lanes are naturally going to push now. Because the problem is not only that your keep is lost, Washed Up hasn't even taken a fort on both of these lanes, so there's no counter pressure whatsoever either. So that's a big problem there. But yeah, level 20 arrow. But the Nature's Cure really denied that. And there's the 20, and Leo already used the Entomb just before he has the Buried Alive. Yeah, feels a little bit bad, man. But Buried Alive is now in, and well, he can use it in the next one. Perfect Gems has also been used now. We have the Flamethrower that makes Mena's life a lot easier, well, a lot safer at least. So that's going to work. And with the next Shrine activating at the top lane, this is of course a horrible spot for the next Shrine from Washed Up's perspective. It's the farthest away from both of the lanes that are pushing against them, so this is a dream for Wind and Rain. It's an absolute dream. At this point, you're just sitting in a position where you can say like, well, just delay the fight. Don't go for a snappy fight, we don't need that, just delay it. Just draw it out. The longer the fight, the better for us. The longer the fight, the more we're having pressure at the bot lane. Second catapult is coming in. Mid lane is attacking there too. No reason to fight quickly. Buried Alive is back. Infernal with the low cooldown can look for the opening there. He gets two. They're trying to make the play here. Arrow comes in and immediately the Keck plays. But the kill against Backhold, yes, there it is. Infernal has fallen too though. Max Payne gets attacked. Catapults again at the bottom of the map, already pushing against the core as the Panda is in a bit of trouble. Is able to keep himself alive though. It's a 4 versus 4 at this point in time. But Marke is low and Marke is down. Quest completed. Once again, 4 Dibbles as he has the 100 souls. Gets the stun in. Skok on the run. And that should be another kill. Yep, Greymane is going to fall. And as the core gets attacked at the bot lane, Hanzo is present to push the catapults out. They're going for the Panda again. And Washed Up is all of a sudden starting to take a lead here. Down goes the Panda. It's only a matter of time. I mean, he is a little annoying fucker, isn't he? So Max Payne is still on the run, but Diablo just had enough, jumps straight in, grabs the Panda's face with one of his claws and just slams his head into the wall until Panda's skull finally cracks and the brain drains out and he yelps in pain and dies. If that was a little bit too graphic for you, you haven't really paid against the Panda often enough. So 15 kills against 12 as we're seeing Washed Up closing the gap. Guys, we could actually see Washed Up win. We could actually see Washed Up win. There's Catapult still pushing on both of the lanes, but still, this keep is pretty much down. And once that you win the top Punisher, you can go core. You can go core right away. So this is all of a sudden getting a little bit nasty. I wonder if they are trying to go for a backdoor. Hanzo is already back to business, just saying, guys, we have to deal with those catapults, and that's what he's trying to do. But Greymane, as we said before, he's good against structures. What is the core? I think it's a structure last time I checked. So they might just sneak in here. And the Punisher's coming up at the top, but yeah, this is getting nasty. Hanzo's the only one that's there. Here comes Jaina, and Hazov's like, boys, we have a problem. Mark, on the other hand, has lost hit points very quickly, and now 4 heroes are back. There's the arrow, and that's a kill. That's a double kill. Actually, Mark might be able to survive. I'm just kidding. Oh, run, baby! Alright, but they saved the core. So, they just lost Greymane. They say, they might still lose Jaina. Yeah, Mark is gonna fall too. Alright, so there's definitely gonna be... Well, actually... Burn, baby, burn. So what just happened? They actually might just have saved the game for themselves. I know it looks a little bit silly and like they just died there and everything, but they were making sure that their core doesn't fall. The problem is they only have 3 heroes on the map, so they might actually die still after all. Panda has to keck. Panda can't keck because he has still a cooldown on it, but they have to try and save this a little bit longer. And the core is already falling. Washed Up is playing a fantastic game there. Wind and Rain, they sacrifice 2 to make sure that the game doesn't end, but as both of them still died, it might end after all. Panda, it's time for the keck. Garrosh is down. The keck is there, and it's not gonna be enough, is it? Greymane is about to be back, but I think he's gonna be late. Washed Up, they take the victory despite the fact that they were down 2 keeps. They take the 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Fantastic comeback by them. Definitely a 6.5 out of 10. Washed Up has the lead. They have the 2-0. I'm honestly still a little bit baffled by it because Wind and Rain had such a dominant position on the map and I didn't really think it would be possible. And to be absolutely honest with you, the Greymane and Jaina attack against the core was a pretty smart idea because if Washed Up doesn't back, they can end the game. They honestly have the capacity with the catapults that are pushing in to win the core race despite the Punisher move through the top lane. So in that scenario it would have worked out for them. But since Washed Up backed with this many heroes, the only thing that had to happen for Wind and Rain to defend their own core, which would have also been a positive for them, is to one of the two heroes to survive. And thanks to Diablo flanking around and then interrupting Jaina and catching her on the map, that didn't work out. If one of the two would have survived, Wind and Rain would have been easily able to defend their own core, and we would have looked at the next objective in the next Punisher. So the thought process of Wind of Rain was actually really solid. It was just that, unfortunately for them, Jaina got caught, and kudos to Nic for catching her there in the middle. Something that Maka definitely didn't expect it. And the Entomb that we saw from Leo that wrecked Greymane. So, yep, well done with them. At this point, we have, well, Hammer banned again on Towers of Doom. And we see also Abathar eliminated. Plus, in addition to this, we have Tyrael banned out. I mean, that's pretty much a given at this point against Backworld. And what are we seeing for the second ban? There it is! Tracer! No Tracer for Mako on this map. It's a big one. So, let's see what's gonna happen there. I mean, in terms of the first pick on the map right now, I would have loved to see another Abathar game. I'm gonna be honest. Abathar is just a fun hero to watch. But, let's see. There's the Panda again. And the Panda actually lost the last game. So we've been memeing yesterday a bit what an incredible win rate the Panda actually has. But it started to getting thrown down a little bit. So, yeah, what else do we have? I mean, right now, when you're playing on... if they have another strategy... I honestly want to see at some point the Light Bomb together with the Panda. I was just like... My thought process was pretty much if they have another strategy like the one in the first game where they try to surprise the opponent with the quick kills through Genji plus Light Bomb, that would be pretty awesome. Chen could work with the Light Bomb as well, if they want to go into similar play. Then again, I doubt that they're going to go for exactly the same strategy here again, but if some kind of strat would work for them or could come out now, that would be a little bit more on the cheesy side, I wouldn't mind it either. I don't want this to be a 3-0. It is a shame for Wind and Rain. I like Washed Up and I really feel like they are the better team, generally speaking. But for Wind and Rain, it just feels a little bit sad, to be honest, that after the great performance that they had so far, they find themselves now in a situation where they are 0-2 against Washed Up. I think they deserved a little bit better. Their first series against Granite Gaming was absolutely insane yesterday, and ever since then, they just played incredibly well there. So, let's see. We're having Greymane banned out this time. And the last ban in this one for Wind and Rain, what's it going to be? What are we going to ban here against them on towers? I mean, again, you can think about the globals here. Backworld is currently the one playing ETC. That would lead into a mosh pit. There's already interrupts against it, but stage dive is always an option if you feel the pressure of going into that. And they ban support. They are eliminating Malfurion and making sure that Nurok can't take that. So... let's see. I mean, at this point, Washed Up has still... I mean, they go for Mena on the mage again. Urel, since she's not banned out here, so that was well done. And what else are we going to get? I mean, we need a little bit more damage. This is the one thing that's really still missing. What is Maka going to play? Are we going to see him? I mean, we've seen him in the past with Cassia even. Vala hasn't really been played today, but that's another hero that I could totally see Maka play too. Greymane has been eliminated from the board as an option, and they played a lot of Greymane in the past now. So there's the Genji pick again, and Liming. So double reset. They're going for double resets. Fair enough. That could definitely work out. Last pick for Washed Up. What are we going to get? Towers of Doom is map number 3. Could be the last one if Washed Up takes the victory here. And they need a bit more damage on their end. Actually, no, they don't. They need a support. They have Hanzo and Jaina. My bad. So, what is Nurok going to play in our next game? And potentially the last one of the series. And we're getting Dagat Kane again. Alright, let's get ready. Game number 3 on Towers of Doom. Wind and Rain against Washed Up. Game number 3. We have Khaldor in our game here on the left side with Tyrande. Khaldor on ETC, Macke on Genji, Skok on Ming, and Max Payne on Chen. Panda time. Hazops then again on Jaina this time, which also leaves us with main on Hanzo. We see Infernal finally on his Urel after it got banned out multiple times now against him. Nic on Garrosh, and Nurok, he still identifies as an old man, and wherever he can get the guy with the beard and the very attractive hairstyle, we are having him going straight into Deckard. So there we go. And with this, there's a chance for Washed Up to take this with a 3-0. So far, the result definitely doesn't reflect how close those games were, but Washed Up is one of the top dogs to beat right now in these playoffs, and they are able to turn games around that other teams just wouldn't be able to. So with this, we're having a pretty nice setup with Max Payne at the top, again playing the Panda here, and down at the bottom of the map we are seeing Khaldor and Skok already with the rotation. And last game in particular, incredibly close. I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of games where a team already leads with 2 keeps that they took down and then not being able to finish the job there. But, well, Washed Up made it happen. The level 20 with the Buried Alive in particular was fantastic. Winning the team fight at the top over the final Punisher was also great. And the reaction to that standard backdoor attempt in the situation was also absolutely on point. I mean, from the perspective of Wind and Rain, obviously also the correct play to make. The problem was really just Diablo catching Jaina. That was the big deal there. And yeah, kudos to Nic. He honestly plays fantastic in that frontline position. Not really a job that he had when he was playing on Team Method in HGC, but his frontline is incredibly powerful here. And his kill against Jaina won them at the end of the day the last map. Without that kill, the core could have been defended, and then we would have looked at an additional Punisher. But instead, he was able to make sure that both of the damage dealers after Greyman's death were eliminated from the map, and that gave them the opportunity to go straight for the core even after they already lost that Punisher there. But either way, as it stands, we're having our little approach towards the bot lane. As 1 minute into the game, obviously both teams took their pumpkin camps. With the level 1 abilities, we're now also seeing the proc rock on ETC. We're having again, typically for Macke, the charged blast. This is one of the things that he always uses. Skok in this case is actually playing Liming and does the same, so for Wind and Rain it's more of a standard. Mena is still very much married to dominance, as are most players, but we see this talent coming in a little bit more often right now. And another talent that we obviously have thanks to the last patch is the Hand of Freedom. Marika, freedom! I mean, either you're Scottish or you're American when you're homing in on this one. And it's a pretty good one because now you can use it on yourself as well. Hazops then again, getting nearly body blocked into oblivion by Macke and Khaldor there. They were obviously hoping for another kill after they could take down Nic here. Triple altar on the map. Should be an easy exchange, top left, top right. Bottom of the map, normally where we see the battle between the two teams to try and go for the extra. For now, we're having Nurok sitting actually behind the gate to make sure that nobody knows exactly how many heroes are where positioned on the map. And Genji is now rotating too, because they're attempting to interrupt the Panda. And yep, Infernal comes in, a little bit of a love tap with a mace straight to the ass of Chen. And over here there's an interrupt too. Both of the teams with the attempts. Double already fired, 32 on the core. Another channel comes through and that eliminates at least 4 points on the blue team's core. So the small but potentially significant lead for Wind and Rain. Again, Infernal also zone out here. We don't have really a lot of kills so far. The only one that we've seen is the one against Garrosh that happened earlier. But for now, we have level 7 abilities appearing soon. And honestly, I really want to see the triple pandas. I just don't really agree with the keg. I feel there were definitely a few instances where Max Passion, who is currently getting murdered here, had huge value with the keg plays in the last game. I honestly do. He was the one that helped them occasionally to isolate Diablo, for example. He was also the one who tried to play around the Entomb quite heavily every single time it was thrown out. He was attempting to save the teammates by just simply disrupting the flow of the opponent's team. And I feel like that's super important. But after now having seen a lot of the Chen players that went into the triple panda just racking backline heroes and absolutely massively impacting those fights, sides. I honestly think that going into the Triple Panda might be the better way there. Double kill against Washed Up, so, well, Panda or no Panda doesn't really matter at this point. With that big 4 versus 5 that we had at the bottom of the map, we have a quick double kill against Wind and Rain, as Li Ming and ETC are eliminated. That gives us a lead in kills for Washed Up with a 3 against 1, and therefore also a little bit more of momentum and experience for the red team as the third objective spawns on the map. And they're obviously eager. No, it's actually the second. And they're obviously eager to make sure that they're going to get that lead now, since they have fallen behind a little bit. So at this point, level 10 abilities are still far away. It's all about the level 7, and already the channel coming through at the bottom of the map. That's not going to be interrupted anytime soon. Or is it? The owl comes in. Nic was trying to catch it, but couldn't. Channel in the middle is also happening. And ETC, it feels, is going to get that sooner. So that's not really what Washed Up was hoping for here. Not even close. Their own core has already suffered 4 shots, and now Wind and Rain can make the play for the bottom. And they're getting Hazorps. And Hazorps is getting wrecked. And that's a double altar. That's 25 points against 36 now. Gulnar doesn't move. The arrows are pretty much hitting everything but him. And yep, that's a big lead now for Wind and Rain. Honestly, with the double kill that just happened before the altars were spawning, Washed Up should have at least been able to get one. But the exact opposite happened. They lost everything there. And now Nic is also low, but at least can save himself. But that put Washed Up now in a bit of an awkward position. 24 against 36 is definitely not the end of the world, but at the same time, this is definitely not where you want to be in, especially if you're the team that has been leading in kills the entire time. So that's a problem. Calamity on level 7, obviously. Now level 10 abilities are coming in with the Warlord's Challenge. Again, Arrow and Hanzo, the standard. Same time, we're having the Stay a While and Listen. And yeah, 10 versus 10 now. Skog gets attacked. Ooh, Ming! The Juke Master 2000 and the Mosh Pit plus the kill. Interrupts and silence everywhere. The Ring of Frost is also coming through. Marcus survives. Bakul is on the run. Is he gonna survive too? He might actually be able to. Max Payne. Yep, there's the Panda time and they're going for Mena. Mena might be able to escape. Nah, I'm just kidding. No way. Okay. Yeah, Mena goes down 2, and that's 4 kills against 3 now, so they're actually taking over in kill leads as well. Damn, what a setup again, holy hell. Yeah, and that's a double altar now topside, so normally that's an even exchange. But they're going for the camp at the bottom of the map to steal that away. It's a cool rotation, because obviously this can't be contested, since Washed Up was still down a hero. Panda gets attacked though, and since he doesn't have his ult any longer, Max Payne is going to bite the dust here. Panda goes down, and that might even lead us into a double altar for Washed Up, but it's going to be a bit of a close call there. So the first one gets channeled at the top right, that one's going to happen. But can they delay over here? This is always an awkward position to push into if you are the team spawning on the right. Your opponent has a much easier time there. Arrow gets completely dodged, doesn't hit anything. And at the same time, the Panda is about to be back. Skog is still getting some damage in against Mena from the side. There's Nurok with a zone, but already Muck at the top, and he can go for another interrupt, and that's exactly what he does. Waits it out a little bit longer, gets the Shuriken in, and the Panda is back to business, and his ult is going to be up in another 20. And they have to retreat here. It's difficult, really. It's honestly difficult if you're trying to invade your opponent's altar like this. And they might pay the price for it. There's the Ring of Frost, connects with 2, and the Panda is down again. That Panda is just plain lazy. Rather wants to take the hands off the keyboard and chill a little bit. ETC is doing the same thing, so yep, it's a little bit of a love story. A cow and a panda. And that should be it. Market can interrupt a little bit more, gets the shurikens through. A double channel at this point would probably be the smartest approach, to be quite honest with you. But either way, they're trying to block the owl as well, and that's the channel there, and the successful conversion. 28 against 24. Nice job by Washed Up. Nicely done here. So they're actually starting to regain some control of the map. Which is pretty important because, again, losing the entire double rotation of altars earlier was a big problem. Especially since it just came at the back of them getting 2 kills, so that was an issue. But it's still a 2-0. 2-0 in this game, so which means that if they win another map, then the best of 5 is over, and we would head straight into the 3rd place decider. This is one of the semifinals, obviously. And topside, Chen is still doing his thing. 13 talents are going to be slightly quicker for Washed Up here. And it's time to see if also we want to have that quest completed and having a bit of impact for ETC. Proc Rock would be quite powerful. Level 1 on Hanzo, by the way, isn't completed yet either. Just to let you know about that. Also, Ice Block not available for Jaina just yet. Fingers of Frost haven't been completed. Still needs another 5. But we are currently looking at level 13 talents and the next objective to be announced. And level 13 talents are ready. They are ready for Washed Up. So Washed Up gets a slight lead here, and we are going straight into the Ninja Assassin again. As I said before, totally useless talent name. A ninja, per definition, is an assassin, so you basically call him an assassin. So, sounds cool, doesn't mean anything. We also have Ancient Blessings, and for Urel, Villains chosen here. So, with that said, there's the 13 on the other side as well. And just in time for the altar, and it's a single altar. Let's get the game started, boys. Let's get some damage in here. Yep, Daddy wants a brawl. 4 kills against 6, and there we have the enough to share. Chen is in a giving mood today. Nurok is already attempting the channel. Should be interrupted by the Panda, and there's the jump. Panda's a little bit isolated, but should still be okay. Nic, on the other hand, gets the taunt through, but the triple Panda is ready and should be used, but the stun comes in, jumps out, and Max Payne, here we go. Going straight for Maynard, trying to wreck him here. The Ring of Frost this time doesn't connect with anything. Maynard at least is able to hop out, but Nurok is in trouble. Nurok is low. There's the reset for Make as he comes in, back hold with a slide. The Panda already on the run. They're trying to go for Infernal, but the ult is already being chosen by him. Urel surviving for now as Make Swift strikes back into the back of the team. They go for Infernal. They can't take him down. And Urel jumps out. 5 versus 4 regardless. Hero is a little bit low, and also the mana pool on the side of Liming isn't looking too happy. Yeah, good hit from Maynard, circling it around every single hero here just to get the interrupt. Able to pull it off. The scatter shot on the other hand doesn't hit anything, but he's able to connect another interrupt here. And we have a massive attempt by Washed Up to save this. They're losing out on the altar eventually, though. Make survives with barely any hit points whatsoever. Backhold also on the move back, and Max Payne on the Pandas on the run. Make with 100 hit points gets another quick shield here, and they're able to move out. Max Payne, though, gets thrown back in, and the Panda pays the price. Still hashtag worth it. I mean, you're basically trading a single Panda for the altar at the bottom of the map. That's 28 against 20 points now on the core. I would call worth it right there. And at this point, we're having, again, an attempt to go for the bot lane control. If they get this, it would be fantastic, and they have now the Pumpkin Camp to help out with it. Quest is now completed for Hanzo too. ETC is still too shy of getting his proc rock done. But, yeah, this is another big pressure play. If you lose that bottom lane control, oh my god, yeah, that was beautiful! And that should be the setup against ETC. You gotta be kidding me. Backhold survives, and we actually have Garrosh and Jaina fall. How the fuck did they just do that? Skog falls on Liming, but Hanzo dies. Unbe-fucking-leavable. Like, how on earth did that happen? First the throw, straight into the stun, then the arrow, and we... Oh my god, he really wants Urel. Well, that didn't work, but damn. It was the perfect combo. The sleep setup for the Ring of Frost. It connects with 2. The Ming comes in with the reset, and they actually turn it around, take Garrosh down, and continue to drop 3 in the process. That's honestly insane. That is honestly insane. This should have been multiple kills for Washed Up, and instead Wind and Rain just said, nope, not on my watch. Ain't happening, boys. Get wrecked. Did exactly that. Owl comes through, doesn't interrupt there. Top left, on the other hand, the Panda has to cancel the channel. Khaldor will now already get the first one. That's another 4 shots of the core. 24 against 16 right now. They're trying to deal with the bot lane that gets attacked, and obviously there's now a full barrage of heroes trying to make sure that this one gets channeled as well. And we have 12 against 24 with level 16 talents in the hand of Wind and Rain. 8 kills against 8. This entire series, again, we have a 2-0 on the leaderboard. Yes. But this entire series has been so close. It is insane that Wind and Rain haven't won a map yet. And at this point, I would really like to say, well, they are actually looking really good here. They're in a great position. But they have been in a great position in multiple games right now, and at the end of the day, Washed Up was victorious every single time. So at this point, the only question that I have is, what is Washed Up going to pull off this time in order to get that win? This is a nice sneak that we have with a trap attempt set up at the bottom of the map. We're having Wind and Rain just going for a boss, and it is going to be scouted out, but the problem is it's going to be a little bit too late. And yep, the Panda takes it. That's another 4 points. Single digits! Single digits on the core. 8 against 24, triple the amount of HP left. So let's look at the damage here. What do we have on that? Oh, the fight actually continues. The Panda. Oh, the interrupt! Infernal interrupts the ult, and that's the end of the Panda. They try to take the camp, and they're able to do that. Nic, oh, he wants the slime, and he doesn't get it. Nearly the flip. 43,000 for Hanzo. Mene taking the lead in the damage in the game. 31 for Jaina, 37 for Li Ming. They push the bot lane now. They're trying to take that bell tower. They want that momentum, and it looks like they're going to get the momentum, at least for the time being. But still, the interrupt against the Panda. Yrel was banned out twice in this series, and the first chance that Infernal gets his hero, he's immediately starting to make the plays. Genji nearly got the channel here. Is going to jump out successfully, but of course now we're having also 5 shots fired against the core of Wind and Rain, and this puts it down to 19. Still far ahead, but you want to reclaim that bell tower as quickly as you can, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble in the long run. So with this, we're having bot lane pressure against it, just the continuous poke. Zorps comes in from the side, the owl straight to the face. Yeah, that was a good one. Again, Hazu, if he goes in and gets the complete lockdown against the opponent, that would have been a disaster. A quick kill there coming through. It was like, ooh, boy. That would have been pretty for them. The Panda at the top lane, trying to put some pressure in as well. Obviously, experience is important for them now. Very important. Doesn't show in the map, by the way. Doesn't want them to know where he is for a little bit longer, but finally decides to pull the plug here as the own minion wave moves in. Wants to have both of the waves push in at the same time for the max value out of it. But experience is important for them, obviously, because they need to make sure that they're not too far behind, or level 20 will be a massive problem for Wind and Rain, since Washed Up is likely to get it sooner. And there's the play again. I mean, again, this is good pressure against the top 4, especially since they're now also talking the Pumpkin Camp, but Yrel at least has started to take the position there too, to make sure that she can defend it for now. But that also means that more resources are moving away from the bot lane, and that allows Skog to get the combo in against the bell tower, so it's on half HP now, but we have a double altar spawning in a really disadvantageous situation. So once again, 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. Can they get it? Marke likely to get it. Swift strikes and takes it. 4 versus 4. Still no bot lane control, but still. Hazu! No way! The arrow wasn't even needed. Obviously, at this point, Hanzo doesn't know it. He's just trying to save Jaina here. But I feel that wave of force could have been placed a little bit better. If he hits that properly and pushes Jaina back, Jaina is dead. Now they're trying to make the play there. Jaina, by the way, has moved all the way down to the bottom to get the first channel. That's going to be 4 points. Interrupt does not connect, so that's 4 shots fired and puts the core down to 12. 12 versus 8. Can they win that fight? Can they take the middle? Wind and Rain looking for the play, starting to jump in. Ring of Frost, and that's CTC down. Jaina about to drop, but nope, scratch that. She falls, but Genji falls first. Nic is on the run now as well, and Li Ming might be in trouble too. It's a 4 versus 3 right now. Gulnar gets attacked. Infernal is just bunny hopping through all of this. Hobbity hop, the goat is on a killing spree, and Hanzo comes in with a final blow against Li Ming. Washed Up in the late game is just absolutely tyrannical. They don't allow you anything. You reach the late game against them and they are going to spank you hard. Again they go in, again they take it, and they are gonna put it to 8 points on the core for both of them. Level 20 talents in their hands now too. Bullseye, Seraphim have been taken here. Hazops has a chance to even go for the cold snap if he wants the cooldown reduction. Unlikely that we're going to see it here. Well, actually, we have seen it multiple times in the past, but I would still assume that it's a bit more likely that it goes into mobility here, or even the deep chill. But either way, we have now 9 kills against 12, and Washed Up wants a 3-0. Washed Up wants a 3-0. Garrosh can actually throw one of them in, so that mechanic, to my knowledge, still exists, so he should be able to throw one forward. and get at least 1 point connected here. They're trying for a bit more than that. Hanzo's reclaiming the top as we speak. As a quick attempt, alright, also using the taunt, but they just can't get that. The arrow connects with 3. They're jumping in again for the Panda. Ring of Frost connects, but the deflect was there for Genji. And no additional points. Actually, 2 points off the core. My bad. 8 against 6, and they're ahead. But level 20 are going to be there soon. Look at the top lane, though. Hanzo has done a thing. The top bell tower got Hanzo'd. And now we have 20 versus 20. There we go. Wind and Rain. Can they force game 4? There's the Panda time again. Elemental Conduit. Also the Repulsion. Cooldown resets on the side of the living weapon. And it's action time. It's Action Jackson at this point, ladies. The final fight potentially. Maybe, well, actually, it could be the final fight. We're talking about a single altar at the bottom of the map, that's true. But if you win this one and rotate up to the top to take the boss, no matter which team takes it, you have a chance there. That said, Wind and Rain has to get a bell tower back if they want to make that play. But if you get a team wipe, for example, or even just 2-3 heroes, you should be able to make that play either way. So already going for the camp down here, trying to take that down. And in comes the cow, ETC in a bit of trouble, looking for the mosh pit, obviously. Max Payne at the same time wanted to go for the ult, but there's the interrupt. Arrow comes in as well. Nice setup once again from Washed Up. But Jaina is super low. And there's the kill attempt, and it's in. Mark, on the other hand, is actually surviving this. The mosh pit gets interrupted. Backhold still alive though, and they are currently getting wrecked here. Wind and Rain, they want the game, they want to win it, but again the push straight into this. Death Mosh, can they get the kill? The Pandas, no! Nurok survives. Infernal with a big place on Urel, and Tyrande falls. The turnaround again, it is unbelievable. Genji's back to business, he wants mana. Marker jumps in, Max Payne doing the same. It's a 4 versus 3 right now, but they don't have a fallback option. There is just bell towers from the red team on the left, on the right, and they have no chance of getting away there. Maka is on the run. We have Skok barely getting out. The Panda is getting chased down. There's the taunt. They go for the kill, and the lockdown is there since Nurok shows no mercy. Max Payne falls, and this should be the end of Wind and Rain. In comes the channel on the bot lane. That's going to put them on a single point, and we have the camp over here. Not taken. They go for the boss. As kind of predicted before all of this even started, they make the play for the boss now. It's a 5 versus 2. Third hero is going to come back soon, but they go for the boss, and there is just very little to nothing that you can do about this. Damage output, 81,000 for main on Hanzo, 63,000 for Li Ming. Marker is zipping in, zipping out. All they have to do is focus on the boss. Jaina is dead, though. Jaina is dead. Can they defend this? That would be insane. That would honestly be insane. It's a single point on the core, and they're actually pulling it off. Marke with a play. He gets the kill against Jaina, and all of a sudden they're alive to fight another day. Bottom bell tower has been reclaimed. They have to wait for the Panda to be back. It's a 4 versus 4. 1 point on the core. And guys, just so you know, the next objective is another double altar. Which means, if Wind and Rain wins the next team fight, they turn it around and win the game. Alright, again, they are far behind, but still, this is not quite over yet. Washed Up has a massive lead, nobody denies this, but it's not quite over yet. Arrow against 3, and oh, that's a kill! Yes, Tyrande's dead. It's mosh time, baby, and the kill again. Oh my god, Genji and Deckard Payne are both down. There's another attempted kill against Li Ming, and Urel is just hobbling through all of this. There's a reason why they banned Urel twice. Infernal is once again showcasing his skills here. The death mosh isn't bad either, but the only survivor is the bloody Panda, and this is going to be the end of it. It's a full 5-man team wipe as the game gets sealed, and we have a convincing 3-0 victory for Washed Up in this semi-final, in this best of 5 series at Division S Europe, at the playoffs. Great performance by Washed Up as they are headed to the grand final against Granite Gaming. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary.
The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support and see you guys next time.